Favor? Moving on to the superintendent's contract.
Okay, with the superintendent's contract, please be aware that I am not bringing this forward. Okay, this is not something that I am proposing. I was asked to bring this forward to the board as a proposal, and so I have done so. When I started here, back, Lonnie Wallace, Tim Nilsson approached me, wanted me to stick around for an additional 3 years, and proposed a salary increase for a 3-year contract, which finished up this last year. Having that contract finished up, this contract, yeah, of course I would like to have another 3-year contract with this district. What you would essentially be doing is adding one more year, because I still have 2 on my existing one. But when I came to the board last year to have a couple of additional years added on, I said my interest is longevity here in this district, and I was not looking for any salary increase at that time. The board did say, well, think about it and come back to us, and then it was thrusted upon me here a few weeks ago that I needed to bring something forward. I do appreciate the sentiment of trustees who have approached me to put something forward. I appreciate the vote of confidence in saying that you want to take a look at my contract and secure it for longevity's sake, because when I took this job originally, I looked at the Florence Carlton School District as a job, in my estimation, that had a lot of great challenges in front of it, but was also what I considered probably a 10-year project for me. Now, after having spent 5 years here, I would like to say I'm right on target with my goals professionally with the accomplishments of this district. And I don't know if I can honestly say that I'm on target with that, but I am very proud of some of the accomplishments we have made in the last 5 years in terms of improvements to curriculum and improvements to facility and even improvements in the budgeting area. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Chairman of the Board, who approached me and asked me to bring this forward.
I did talk to Mr. McGee, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and asked him to do this because I really felt like that, and it's going to sound similar to what I said about the other administrators. I really think that Mr. McGee is a quality superintendent, and that he has come into the district and done some really, really great things. Just not even looking at anything else, just a facility. And I don't know, Mike, how long have you lived in the district?
14 years.
Okay.
You came about the same time John did.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, after living in this area for over 35 years, and it's not because that the people in the community did not want to be able to keep their building up, just do the maintenance and whatever on it. It was in dire, dire need of having some major things done, and that's why, there have been, through the years, and when I came onto the board 9 years ago, or not quite 9 years, 8.5 years ago, my whole goal was to build a new school, and to be able to not take this one away, but to be able to, then be able to have the money to do the things that needed to have done to it, because it was falling down, and it needed some. Anyway, Mr. McGee has through hours and hours and hours of extra time has found grants and done things that have gotten our building little by little back up to where it's in such better shape than it was 5 years ago before he came. And that's just speaking about the building. In the teachers that I've talked to, in the last several years, since Mr. McGee's come, and these are tenured teachers. A lot of our teachers have been here for, I think in most school districts, I think there's a lot of, tenured teachers who've been in the profession 20, 25 years. And they've seen a lot of administrators come and go. And they can They can tell you exactly. And all the teachers that I visited with, and I didn't specifically ask them, I wasn't asking them about Mr. McGee, how his job performance, anything. The one thing that they've always shared with me is that he is a good one. He is quality. They trust him. He listens. He doesn't speak out of both sides of his mouth. If he doesn't agree with it, he'll tell you that. If he agrees with it, he'll do everything in his power to make it happen. And teachers recognize, sincerity and honesty and those kinds of things that I think Mr. McGee has. We're all aware that Mr. McGee has dealt with a lot of negative in the last 2 or 3 years from a few individuals. And I swear it's only because he's from Butte that he's still here. Because he's just decided he's gonna stick to it. I don't know. But the thing of it is, I said to somebody the other day, I said, if in fact Mr. McGee were to leave because of some of the negatives that have been floating around there, and they're all unfounded, it would take our district, and I'm not kidding you, it would take our district years to find a quality superintendent to come in and take his position. Number one, because of a few of these individuals that have been out there putting out the whatever that they've put out, believe you me, all administrators in the state of Montana and western part of the United States, they pay attention to that. And if they're looking at applying to a school, they're going to Google it, and they're going to come up, and what are they going to come up with? All of this stuff that we know is unfounded, but they're going to come up with it. So do you think the quality educators are going to come and apply here if, in fact, Mr. McGee would choose to leave? Absolutely not. We're going to go through some very below-level superintendents to get back to where we have an individual that could do what he's doing. And so the thing of it is, are we taking a risk and telling the community, you know what, we like him as a superintendent, we think he's doing a good job, and we're going to give him a raise? Are we going to catch it? You bet we're going to catch it. And I'm just going to say the same thing about the administrators. We either stand behind them and say, we're going to have a quality education here, we're going to have consistency, we're going to do what we need to do. I'm sorry, if you're out there, crying wolf or doing whatever you're doing, that's certainly your right to do that. But we as a board feel that we have good administrators, they deserve the raise, and we want to keep them. And if you're going to, and if I'm going to catch flack, bring it on. Because I'm going to tell you, there isn't anybody that can do a better job than what Mr. McGee has done. Is he perfect? Are any of us perfect? We all, there might be things that he does or we do in each of our lives and our professions that somebody else would do differently. That doesn't mean they're doing a bad job. That just means it's a difference of opinion. And we can have that, and as adults, I think that's healthy. But on the other hand, he's always done the job we've asked him to do. He's gotten good evaluations. Dorothy's worked in the district. How many superintendents?
I worked here for 25 years for 5 superintendents, and I'll tell you, John McGee is the most professional of any of them. I only wish that you'd been here when I was working here, because when I finally quit, the superintendent at that time was terrible, and the morale was down. And when we got John, you were my first choice. When we interviewed John, I was so impressed with the answers he had. He just knew the answers so well and explained them so well. Although you did say something about you tended to beat a dead horse, and that's true. But anyway, I was so glad that we got John, and we got him, and things started getting better from that moment. The morale went up. The staff is happy. It's just made a world of difference, and I admire so much his professionalism in face of this awful stuff, this adversity that's been going on. I don't know how a person can sit there and put up with that like John has, and so undeservedly. And I hope that it all burns out, but I think we need to stand behind him and let people know that all of that is just baloney, and that we do trust him and we stand behind him, and we're glad we've got him. So in that light, I move that we hire John McGee as a superintendent, for the 2010-11, 2011-12, and 2012-13 school years at a salary of $86,316 for the 2010-11 school year, $88,905 for the 2011-2012 school year, and $91,572 for the 2012-13 school year.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, we go ahead, Mike.
I just want to, I've been following this I've only been on the board for a few months, but I've been following the going-ons for a while. And I've always appreciated John's very level and consistent approach to everything. And I know if John tells us what's going on, I trust that. Same with if there's complaints coming through the school and it comes up through the, I don't want to hear it from the parents. I want to hear it from John, and I trust that John's going to give us. And that's one of the things I appreciate that I don't think you guys touched on. So,
Believe me, having worked for 5 superintendents, there is just a huge difference in John's style of management and treating people. And I think we finally got a really good one, and we want to keep him.
Well, I think that the fact that in lieu of all the things that have been out there, he just has kept his nose to the grindstone, done his job. I don't know how many times I've called him and said, I'm just reading. I'm just thinking, okay, we're going to do something about it. And he says, let's just keep our job, keep doing our job. Let's just keep doing what we need to do. And I've learned a lot from him as far as that. And so, yes, I just don't think we can find any better. And I think our district it would be sorely going the other direction if we don't do this action.
Well, I do want to say it is an honor and a privilege to serve the school district. This is a good community, and there are some rantings that go on, but when you put it in perspective and you really listen to the people around you, and I have a tendency to listen to parents up at the park when coaching a baseball game, or enjoying watching a baseball game of some kids playing up there, or sitting in the parking lot outside after church. Those rantings very seldom ever come up. People don't give a lot of credence to what is going on, whether it's on Facebook and stuff. There are other things, values that people have in this community, and Florence is a good place, a very good place to live and raise your kids.
Yeah, that's no matter what organization you're in, community, church, anything, there's going to be a few disgruntled people no matter where you go. You're just going to have to deal with it all the time. And this continuity business counts for quite a bit. If somebody's here year in, year out, and doesn't need to be retrained somebody every 2-3 years, a new man, that counts for quite a bit. So, you bet.
Just on a lighter note, and I've shared this story with John, I think, when I was in high school, the school board, who was the parents of my contemporaries at that time, hired this guy who had been convicted of embezzlement at another school. He was the principal/superintendent of our district, and so he went on weekends to serve his sentence in Deer Lodge while he was at school during the week, and he would come into assembly about every other morning with this Montana school law book and read a chapter to us. And because he was the kind of person who was worried about getting in trouble, we didn't go on field trips, we didn't do anything. And this is at Reed Point High School, if anybody knows where that is. And so the quality of the education that we got coming out of that school in the early 70s was not college prep, and it was not designed to foster kids to be successful out in the world. And it took the parents that were on the school board quite a long time to figure it out. So, but how they hired him, who knows? But that's what we went from being a school where the kids went to college and they all graduated with honors to nobody went to college out of our school.
Backwards.
Mm-hmm. We went way backwards.
Happened quick in Class East in District 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, any further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McGee. All right, we're going to move on to district office